bag, my wallet, my cell phone, and they're trying to find evidence to justify their arrest. This goes on for a while, and after a bit they tell me why I was arrested. It was because I was wearing a bandana around my neck, like so. It's the bandana I was wearing. And so they're going through my cell phone, and they're questioning me about everything, and they say, and, they're accusing me of being a protester. I said, well, yeah, I was a protester yesterday, and I'm proud of that, but I was not breaking any law. This goes on for a while. They tell me that my charge is disguised with intent. For wearing a bandana around my neck, I was charged with disguised with intent. So wait a couple hours. Finally, a prisoner truck comes. They take my photo. I'm thrown into the back of this dark truck, and we drive around downtown. We would drive a bit, stop. I'd hear a kerfuffle outside the truck. Then someone would come in, like bleeding from the face. Visibly had been assaulted by the police. So this goes on for about 2 hours. We drive a little bit, we stop, someone else comes in until we're packed in the truck. It's dark, it's hard to breathe. But eventually we pull into a building which turns out to be the Eastern Avenue Detention Center. I'm let out. It's a really chaotic building, bright lights, lots of noise, tons of people, it's chaos, officers, people who have been arrested. I'm led down a row of cages. I'm put into a cage, much like some of these photos you see behind me. And there's 15 people, about 15 to 30 people at different times in my cage. And we're begging for water, we're begging for a lawyer. Keep in mind, I've just disappeared off the street. No one saw me. And so I was concerned that people are going to be freaking out if I don't show up for that church picnic this afternoon. They'll be wondering where I am. And can I call a lawyer? Can I get food, phone, whatever? This goes on. The frustration is just mounting. After several hours of this, finally they come around with a little bit of water. A couple hours later, I get a cheese sandwich. One of the most humiliating things about the setup of the detention center is you're in this cage, there's cameras everywhere, and there's a porta potty in the corner. Orange porta potty with no door on it, and no toilet paper. After several hours of being in there, I finally had to go to the washroom, and one of the lowest moments was sitting on that toilet with cameras watching me, and having to wipe my butt with a paper cup while wearing handcuffs. So the night, wore on. Initially, I felt, I'd get out of here in a few hours, and sure enough, it was the middle of the night. I wasn't getting anywhere. I was getting pretty frustrated. I tried to catch some sleep, but it was a really stressful environment. And the officers in there also didn't know what was going on. They'd come around reading out numbers and names, and is so and so in here, and so and so, and so you try to just listen and hope that they catch your hope that you catch your name or your prisoner number as they come by. So because of that, I also forced myself to stay awake all night because I didn't want to miss my chance to be processed. So by the next morning, around 9 a.m., I finally learned what it means to be processed. So about 23 hours after my arrest, I'm led into a small room with a few senior officers, and they asked me what my deal is, why I'm in there. I say, I was just walking down the street, I got arrested. And they said, okay, fair enough, but we have to search you. So I'm led into another room, and two officers watch as I take off my clothes and show them all my cracks everywhere, expose myself to prove that I don't have any weapons. They're satisfied, so I'm led back in the portable where the senior officers are. They say, thanks for your cooperation. We don't know why you're in here. Frankly, it baffles us why you're arrested. But if you're arrested, it must have been for some good reason, so we have to keep you here. Yeah, it's ridiculous. A couple hours later, finally, I beg enough, and I get to talk to legal aid. They reassure me, don't worry, as much as it feels so distressful in here, know that outside there are hundreds of people protesting for your release. And if any of you were out there on the street, thank you, I appreciate that. And then I also get a chance to use a payphone. I call my family and say I'm alive. They had been worried up all night, calling all the hospitals in the city, asking if anyone had seen me. And so they were relieved to hear my whereabouts. And I said, like, if I'm not out of here in a couple hours, go up to the courthouse in North York, because that would mean that I'm still in detention. Finally, after 28 hours after my arrest, they tell me I'm free to go. I sign some papers. They say my charges are dropped. I get my shoes and my bag and my wallet back, my phone, and I walk out onto the street in an area of town I'm unfamiliar with. But as I cross the street from this hostile environment, detention center, across the street to this corner where there's tons of people waiting to welcome me with food and water and hugs and humanity. I was really grateful for that. Someone offers me a ride back home. And then I started just taking stock of what just happened. You know, later that night as I'm having a shower, I finally realized, like, oh, this dry blood in the back of my head, I didn't even know because I was handcuffed the whole time since the day before. But when they threw me to the wall, I cut my head. And I was really scared that night. I was like afraid to sleep because I thought, you know, the cops could just barge in the door any second and take me out of here. So this fear and this trauma like went on for a while, and after, you know, I would be like walking down the street to go to work, and I'd see a cop car, and my heart would start racing and be like, oh my god, is it going to happen again? Am I going to get arrested? And so after a few months of this, I was like, you know, I'm not going to live like this. I sought out a counselor, and she helped me process what I'd experienced. And it was, I acknowledged that it was trauma that I experienced, and I decided that I wanted to come out on top of this and not only be the victim. I didn't want to stop there. I wanted to take this anger and turn around into some positive energy. And so I decided to sue the police. I thought, you know, gotta do what I can to hold them accountable. I filed a lawsuit in small claims court for $25,000 against the Toronto Police Services Board, citing unlawful arrest and detention. We settled that out of court in the fall of 2011. And you know, to me, that's like admission of their guilt, although they won't say that. I had also learned of the OIPRD, the Office of the Independent Police Review Director. I'm sure you'll hear a bit more about that later tonight. And so I found out that I can file a complaint against the police. So I filed a complaint about this is what happened to me. So there were several months of interviews and investigations of myself and the officers who were involved in my arrest. And it brought the conclusion of this investigation was that yes, I had been unlawfully arrested and detained, and also the officers who arrested me said they were simply following orders to arrest anyone wearing a bandana. They said there was an order from upper command that anyone wearing a bandana could be arrested. So I filed a follow-up complaint, and the complaint was against the role of upper command, saying like, you haven't actually finished investigating this. We don't know like who made these orders. This has to be pursued further. I won't get into all the legal details, but let's just say it was like 3 years back and forth of appeals and the court hearings. Eventually, the highest court in the province of Ontario said to the OIPRD, you haven't done your job, now go do your job. And OIPRD still refused. Recently, I received a letter from the OIPRD, and they explained that they weren't going to pursue this investigation. This is the letter I've highlighted because it's not in the public interest. So this is what we have for our police accountability system. I feel like I've gone as far as I can on that direction. There's still one more legal avenue I'm pursuing. My complaint, the report that found Constable Vincent Wong was the one who unlawfully arrested me. He's going through a disciplinary process with the Toronto Police Services, and he's been found guilty of misconduct. He's received a sentence of a couple days, I can't remember exactly, a short-term suspension, a couple days unpaid, and it'll be on his record.